Oklahoma State Superintendent Ryan Walters visited Carnegie Elementary this week and drew more than 100 protesters. The anger was mostly directed at Walters over immigration and his proposal to require schools to document whether students and their parents are U.S. citizens. Emery Bryan was there.
A little rain didn't stop a lot of anger outside Carnegie Elementary. With Ryan Walters inside for a private meeting, waves of protesters outside tried to get his attention.
For us, we're doing something because our voices are being heard. We're showing our disappointment. We're trying to protect our kids and our schools.
You can go across the street on either side. Thank you, guys.
Police kept protesters across the street, and Walters' security detail ringed the school while officers in plain clothes walked through the crowd.
I'm here to protest everything Ryan Walters is doing because he's not doing anything good. He's just doing everything to support his white supremacist base, his Christian nationalist base.
I just feel like he's failing Oklahoma schools. I think public schools are in danger because of him.
Many of the signs addressed Walters' statements about gathering immigration status on students and parents.
I'm just hoping that he sees that there are people here that don't agree with his scary, angry rhetoric that's scaring our families.
Some TPS board members visited with Walters, who John Croissant said was there to highlight the success of the school.
That's what today's about. The problem is that that's not what he's about.
Tulsa Superintendent Ebony Johnson left the meeting without speaking to protesters or the media.
I gotta go. Sorry.
No! No! Protesters only got a glimpse of Walters when he was leaving. His driver hit the gas on a blocked-off street, but protesters tried to stop him at the corner. Walters got away without any contact with his critics, who felt like their brief encounter was worth waiting hours in the rain.
We set out to do one thing, is to show Ryan Walters and to show up and support our children. So our goal has been met. We're happy.
That was Emery Bryan reporting. With the crackdown on immigration, some undocumented immigrants may be afraid to report crimes, but a North Texas police chief doesn't want that to be the case. This week, Dallas Police Department Interim Chief Michael Igo released a video appearing to provide reassurance to undocumented communities, wanting them to not be fearful of contacting police and reporting crimes because of their status.
The federal government is primarily responsible for enforcing immigration laws. There are no changes to how the City of Dallas and DPD will provide services. This also means that if you are a victim of a crime, you have the right to report it, regardless of immigration status.
This week, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick listed his legislative priorities, which include Senate Bill 8. It would require law enforcement to assist the federal government's deportation efforts. It's the end of the week, but before you go, here are some stories you can't miss in today's 3 Things to Know. A conservative appeals court has ruled a federal law banning the sale of handguns to 18 to 20-year-olds as unconstitutional. Defenders of the law argue research shows young adults are more likely to commit gun violence. The FDA approved a new breakthrough painkiller that could help eliminate the risks of overdose and addiction. The pill has been approved for acute, short-term pain that often occurs after surgeries or injuries. It's the first new pharmaceutical approved for treating pain in over 20 years. Doctors are hopeful that the drug could replace opioids, as it works in a way that is supposed to be less addictive. A mom's health during pregnancy may not influence her child's risk of autism. The study in the journal Nature Medicine had researchers analyze more than 1 million pregnancies in Denmark and found that the only factors involved were complications related to the fetus. Study authors argue further research in this area to confirm their findings is necessary, and they must better determine any possible links between a mom's health and a child's chance at being autistic. The victims of the Reagan National Airport crash would have arrived after a 2-hour, 45-minute flight Wednesday night. Instead, we are showing you their pictures today. Each one represents a life cut short and the lives of friends and family changed forever. Many of the victims were part of the world of figure skating, and Tom Hansen is in Ashburn, Virginia, with some of their stories.
They were my inspiration.
An outpouring of emotion as the figure skating community grieves the loss of some of their rising stars killed in the mid-air collision near Washington, D.C.
It leaves a void.
General manager of the Ashburn Ice House, Rob Lorenzen, arrived to his Northern Virginia rink Thursday morning to find a growing makeshift memorial for the members they lost.
It's a tough day.
You talk about how tight-knit the skating community is. What's been lost?
The level of skater that was competing in the National Development Camp is the best of the best. Terrible loss for the community.
The Skating Club of Boston is also mourning the loss of 6 members of their community, killed as they returned from the elite development camp in Wichita, Kansas.
Right now, our rink is eerily quiet. Coaches are not coming in, kids are not coming in. I think everybody's mourning privately.
Skaters 13-year-old Gina Hahn and 16-year-old Spencer Lane, along with their mothers Jin and Catherine and their Russian coaches, former world champions Genya Shishkova and Vadim Nomov, were all on board. Spencer's dad, Douglas Lane, called his son a force of nature.
And from the adults running the club to the smallest skaters to the people that are, competing for a shot at the Olympics, they all just adored him.
He was among more than a dozen top skaters killed in the crash, many hoping to earn a spot one day in the Olympics. Famed figure skater Nancy Kerrigan trained for her own Olympic dream at the Skating Club of Boston and returned Thursday to offer support.
We're so strong, somehow we have a reservoir to dig from, and each one of them are strong enough to get through this somehow. It will take time.
And the rink here is open today to give people a chance to come together and grieve. We're also learning more about the faces and names of those on board this flight, including 26-year-old Asra Hussein Raza. She was traveling back to D.C. on a work trip, and 46-year-old Alexander Sasha Kirsanov. He was a former figure skating club coach. Tom Hansen, CBS News, Ashburn, Virginia.
Yesterday, President Donald Trump spoke on the deadly crash. He suggested diversity, equity, and inclusion programs may have been to blame, though he didn't provide evidence and acknowledged the cause is still unknown. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest.
From President Donald Trump, theories continue to circulate around what led to Wednesday night's deadly mid-air collision outside of Washington, D.C.
Are you saying race or gender played a role in this tragedy?
It may have, I don't know. Incompetence might have played a role.
The question as Trump signed a new memo blaming Biden and Obama-era efforts to improve diversity for problems with the Federal Aviation Administration.
The FAA is actively recruiting workers who suffer severe intellectual disabilities, psychiatric problems, and other mental and physical conditions under a diversity and inclusion hiring initiative spelled out on the agency's website.
But the program also existed during his first term, designed to ensure recruitment for a variety of roles included people who have disabilities. Another program established during the first Trump administration worked to help people with disabilities get ready for careers in air traffic operations. On Capitol Hill, Democrats pushed back against the president's claim.
It just turns your stomach.
This while senators grilled 3 of Trump's cabinet picks during confirmation hearings. Meanwhile, back at the White House, President Trump promised new 25% tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico, citing immigration and drugs.
Those tariffs may or may not rise with time.
Oil explicitly not included on the list of taxed items. Trump said that, though, could change based on price. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Former FAA air traffic manager and professor Michael McCormick also spoke out against Trump's DEI claims. He told reporters that the selection process for controllers is rigorous and they must go through a multi-year training process.
Thank you for watching today's News 12 Now. Make sure to subscribe so you find out why Texoma turns to us. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook, where you'll see more social media exclusive content. Want more News 12 Now? Watch us live every weekday through the KXII app on your phone or TV and through our website.